In this video, I want to share with you tips and tricks on how you can create successful t-shirt mockups that you can use for your Etsy business. Hello everyone, my name is Mike. I'm a full-time print-on-demand seller. I make YouTube videos showing you how to make more money on merch on demand and Etsy. If you like this kind of content, you get any value out of this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and like the video. Now, before I share with you those tips and tricks on how to create really good-looking mockups for Etsy, just want to do a quick sales update for merch on demand and for Etsy, because things are actually going pretty well. Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 6:15 a.m. in the morning. And yesterday I had another good day on merch on demand. So I ended up doing 54 sales and $136 in royalties. Yesterday was pretty much almost identical. That is going to put me at 339 sales for the month and $740 in royalties. And if we go ahead and take a look at Etsy, Etsy was another good day. Let me just scroll down here. So yesterday ended up doing 12 orders and $212 in revenue. Now that's revenue, is not profit. I sell both print on demand and digital downloads, so my profit margin is a little higher. So I'm right around like 50%, I would say, is what I'm profiting. But every day has been pretty much over $200, $250, and had a couple big days right here. And I'm actually doing just as good or maybe even better than last year, because this year on Etsy really hasn't been that good, but this month has been good, so that is nice to see. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, where I post my daily sales for both merch on demand and Etsy, the link is in the description. And I've also kind of like turned my Instagram into a personal brand account where I'm sharing my journey on making 10K a month with print on demand. So if you're interested, you can follow me. That's why you see this day 3, day 4, day 5. I also kind of show like a little bit more about my life. So if you want to get to know me on a personal level, check out Instagram. Link is in the bio. But now that we got the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the video. So to be successful on Etsy, you just have to have really good thumbnails. I always tell people that your thumbnails will make or break you. And there's some things that we can learn by studying other successful shops on Etsy on how to create really, really good thumbnails, because this is so important. And, there's a lot of people that get this wrong. So if we go to this website right here called eRank, eRank is a really cool website that gives us a lot of information about like keywords and other top sellers on Etsy. And if we go right here to top sellers on Etsy and scroll down, we can actually categorize it by certain niches like accessories, bags, and purses. But what we want is clothing, because we're selling t-shirts. And then here, eRank is going to show us the top 100 shops in the clothing category. And so what I did is I just went ahead and I just pulled up like 4 of them, the 4 of the top ones in the top 10. And what you want to do, is you want to study these shops. You want to study their mockups. Well, not this one, but these ones right here. You want to study these top shops right here, and you want to look for similarities. And when we study these shops, we're going to see that there's a lot of these top shops are doing the same thing. So the main thing that you're going to notice when you go to these top shops is that the majority of these shops, they do not have people in their thumbnails. Everybody wants to have a person in their thumbnails, but me, I don't do that. I recommend you just do a flat lay mockup. And I mean, you're going to see some people, but the reason why people use a flat lay mockup, or why it's better to use a flat lay mockup instead of a person, is because if you use a person, it's going to take up that very valuable real estate space in the thumbnail. One of the most important things when it comes to thumbnails, you just have to be able to understand and read what the heck you're actually selling. And you can do that more when you use a flat lay mockup. All right, so if we come here, we're going to see a bunch of flat lay mockups. If we go to this next shop right here, this one's very successful. You see it has a whole bunch of sales, but basically it's just all flat lay mockups. There is one. Now, there's one person, but when they do use people, you're going to see they cut off the head. And the reason they do that is so that they could have more space so people can see what the actual design is. So again, here we have a whole bunch of flat lay mockups, and we go to this next shop, we're going to see more similarities. Right here, basically all flat lay mockups. Now don't do Disney stuff, because that will get you in trouble. Like when we look at this mockup right here, it's very easy to read and understand what it is that they're selling. And let's see if I can find maybe a bad example like this one right here. Well, it's because the design is kind of small. But for the most part, these are all really good. If we go to this next shop right here, we're going to see, oh yeah, this is one that had a couple bad ones. So this shop is also, very successful. We can see the amount of sales that they have. For the most part, almost kind of like half and half. They're using flat lay mockups. But here they have one with a person, which is good because they basically cut off the head. They've gotten rid of like all the body parts so we can actually see what the heck they're actually selling. But if we look at these ones right here, these ones aren't so good because they're using more of the person. And that makes it harder for people to see what the actual design is. All right, so that would be my first tip when it comes to creating mock-ups on Etsy, is to just not use people. Just use flat lay mock-ups. And you can just, I'll show you actually how to make a flat lay mock-up using AI. But if you really want to use people, like if you really like this style that's very popular with this woman with the nice blonde hair, what you want to do is you want to basically enlarge it and you want to cut off the head. You just want to make it so that people can really only see the design so they know what the heck they're actually buying. And then the second tip that I want to share with you on how to get really good thumbnails, which is really important, I see people messing this up all the time, is that they don't have the right thumbnail size. All right, you want to do 4,500 by 5,400, just like if you were doing a merch on demand t-shirt. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Because when you don't have the right size, the part of your design is going to get cut off. So like right here, we're going to see 4 really good examples. And this is a bad look. So like right here, like obviously you definitely don't want to do this, the Grinch with like Philadelphia Eagles, but if we just use that as an example, you see a lot of the text is cut off. Right here, we can't even really read what it says here at the bottom. Here's another one that's kind of cut off on the sides. I see this a lot with like when people try and sell like 2 t-shirts, it's hard for me to understand what it is. Let's take a look at some other examples. So again, it's cut off on the sides. Well, the video is cut off on the sides. These ones are actually pretty good. You want to have some little space on the sides of the actual like t-shirt or some like black background, so it's not cut off. You see how it's not cut off, the M's right here? And then let me find, like, this is cut off, not good. These ones, like this is a really good one right here, because I can understand what it is and I can see what it is. None of the product is cut off. It's got good lighting. Here's another good one. This is also good. It's kind of cut off on the side, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Like these ones cut off on the side, you don't want that. That's a funny one. This one I really liked right here. So this is a good example. I mean, it is a PNG file, but here we can see it's got this nice black background and there's black space right here, black space right here, and nothing's cut off. It's easy for me to read and understand. Here's kind of cut off on the side. So, those are my 2 main tips when it comes to making thumbnails, is to basically just use flat lay mock-ups. Did I say thumbnails? I'm sorry, I meant to say mock-ups. You want to use flat lay mock-ups. And then you also want to avoid using people, and then you want to make sure that everything is very well centered, and you want to use 4,500 by 5,400. And that's what I'm going to share with you here next on how you can make a really good mock-up for Etsy. I keep saying thumbnail. And now I just want to show you real quick how I like to make my mock-ups. So lately I've just been using AI or ideogram because it's a lot easier. If you want, you can just go to Etsy and purchase them. I mean, they are pretty cheap. But the way that I like to do is I just come down to, or I'll just go to Etsy and I'll just search for flat lay t-shirt mock-up and I'll find one that I like. So I'm pretty simple. I just like these ones that look like this, where you have a white background and a black t-shirt, because I'm usually just selling black t-shirts. And what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of it, and then I'll jump on over to ideogram and I'll hit this upload image right here, and I'll basically just upload that screenshot, and then I'll have ideogram describe it. And then once it's described it, you're going to have to edit a little bit. So you want to get rid of like this text right here. So plain black t-shirt, get rid of that, put a period, and then you want to get rid of the rest. So the text. And there's also going to be like some Everbee stuff. So like right here in the top right corner, there's that, there's a heart. And then there's also, I think there's a B somewhere, the t-shirt in the bottom right corner. Yeah, so we want to get rid of that, the Everbee B. We're just going to have ideogram just make us a nice little mock-up for us, and you want to have it 3x4. That is going to be that 4,500 by 5,400 kind of ratio. It's also going to look really good for when you're on mobile. And then let's go to realistic for nice photography. Let's see what we get here. Hopefully it all looks good. Quick sip of coffee. 50%. Come on, let's go. 87. And bam, there we go. So just simple mock-up, just like this, simple cells. So then what I would do here is I would just go ahead and download this, and I would go ahead and pop it into Photoshop. So let me just show you how I do that. All right, so here I am on Photoshop, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to just basically create a new what's it called, a canvas. So I just go like Command N right here, and I just want to do 4500 by 5400. It's already done that. And then basically I will just get rid of the background like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take that image from ideogram, just go ahead and drop it in there like that and scale it out. So it looks like that. Then I'm just going to find some random design that I just downloaded on from Creative Fabrica, Christmas design. It's Christmas this month, so Merry Christmas. And we'll go like this. And boom, just like that, we got a nice flat lay mock-up. And, if you want to use like one with the woman, that's fine. You can just take a screenshot from something on Etsy and just use the same process. But remember, again, you just want to make sure that the head is kind of cut off. And I think I actually have an example. Maybe, do I have one? Oh no, this is for I was doing a preschool shirt, but same kind of idea. So I actually made this with ChatGPT. I just asked it to make one of a child, but I went ahead and actually just I zoomed it all the way. So this is actually it right here. But again, you don't want to show the face. You want to have the head cut off. That's just a little example right there. Yeah, so that is how you can just go ahead and make it. The main thing is you just want to make sure that it's a 4500 by 5400. Oh, whoops. Don't know where it went. I got so many freaking things open on Photoshop, but that's basically the process right there. You just go ahead, you take a screenshot on Etsy, make the design on ideogram, pop it into Photoshop, make sure it's 4500 by 5400. Then you got a nice mock-up, and then you just want to go ahead and upload that to Etsy. And that's going to be the next thing I'm going to show you, because you want to make sure that's nice and enlarged. All right, so here we are on Etsy, and I just went ahead and I uploaded that mock-up. And what you want to do here, or what I like to do at least, is go to adjust thumbnail. And I want to enlarge it. I want to make it big and make it pop, and so that it grabs people's attention. Because like this is too small. So what I will do is I'll actually enlarge it a lot, like maybe something like this. But I still want people to understand this is a t-shirt. So what I would do is I go like this, then I believe you can actually bring it down like that. So maybe something like that right there. And just kind of play around with it. It should be well centered, so something maybe like this right here. And this is what I would have at the thumbnail. People can still kind of see that it's a t-shirt. You see a little bit of the sleeves, but the the design is nice and big. It pops. You can see the tag. When someone sees this, they're going to know right away that this is a t-shirt. They're going to see the actual design. They can read it. It's very well centered. There's still a little bit of a white background. Nothing's cut off, and there's no like people. So I just want to share with you like how I do my thumbnails, what makes a good thumbnail, because if you don't have a good mock-up, I keep doing that. If you don't have a good mock-up for Etsy, it's going to be tough to get sales. It's going to be tough for people to click on your listing. And that's the first part. People have to be able to actually, click on your listing so that they can go to your listing page and actually end up buying the t-shirt. All right. So remember, just, try and use flat lay mockups. If you do want to use people, just make sure the head is cut off. Make sure that everything is very well centered and none of your text on the design or image on your design is cut off. And if you do that, I think it's going to help. And then just real quick, just a little quick plug on my SKOOL community. If you're struggling to get sales on Etsy, you might want to consider joining my SKOOL community. Besides the fact of just getting prompts and designs every day for both merch on demand and Etsy, whether you're doing print on demand or digital downloads, you're just going to feel like not alone on this print on demand or make money online journey, because you're going to have a support group of like-minded individuals that are basically after the same goals as you. So, that's really helpful. I remember when I first started selling online, I was doing ebooks, and I actually joined a mastermind group, and we would hook up every Saturday and do like a Google Hangout for like an hour or two. And I remember it helped me so much, and I really started to see my sales take off because I was, in this community or a part of this group of people that were, on the same path as me. And it just made me feel really good because I just didn't feel alone. So if you're interested, check it out. Link is in the description. It's only $24 a month. Cancel anytime. That's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios.